the alarm, we have, and this is the bit where I do my best ear hostess impression. We have an exit here, an exit here, there's one at the back as well. So if we hear the alarm, there'll be people to help you evacuate the building, because I know we have some external guests with us today. So welcome everyone. We would like to encourage anyone who is on Twitter to tweet as the day goes along. We've got a lot of workshops, a lot of interactive workshops, a lot of fantastic, inspiring women that we've invited to be our keynote speakers.
Do we have a hashtag?
Yes, Carol, you just, I was just about to do another point to our hashtag. I know that that's something you wanted, so we have provided it. So it's UWS Inspiring Women as the hashtag if you're on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, you probably don't know what that means. So I'm going to keep you right with breaks, where we're moving to, all that as the day progresses. My name's Claire Ennis. I work on the Inspiring Women series with a fantastic team of Caroline Bainham, who you'll see later today, up here. I also work with Tom Forrester, who's our new management development trainer, and Rona Wilson. We all work in the Inspiring Women programme with special help from the events team at UWS. So without further ado, I'm going to pass you over to our Principal and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Kate Mahoney.
Thanks, Claire. I'd like also to welcome everybody here this morning and congratulate colleagues behind organising this event. I'm very proud of a lot of the things that we do at UWS, and in particular this is one of those. When I came here 3 years ago, I was concerned about a number of things I saw within the university, particularly related to gender, and spoke with the then Director of HR and subsequent Director of POD in what we might do about that. And one of the things I thought might be useful, might work, would be to run a series of events like this, which we've typically done as individual events, lunchtime, late afternoon, evening, that many of you will have participated in, I'm sure. And then last year, this concept was put together where we have a day-long event of inspiring women activities with the prospect of speakers and workshops and so on. And it worked so well last year, we're doing it again this year. Now, in a minute, I'm going to take my own picture for tweeting. I do a bit of tweeting, some of you follow me. So I'm going to want you to hold up that so that that's held up, not covering your face. I'm going to take a picture because I'm keen to tweet out the audience that's gathered here today. It's wonderful to see so many of you able to give up the most of the day anyway to be here. Great to see so many women here. Disappointing perhaps that our representation of men this year is lower than last year, but it is what it is. I'm going to make a few comments that are perhaps contentious, but I think it's important to expose them. A tweet was sent out last week linked to the UCU strike, which suggested UWS had a 4-to-1 ratio of male to female professors. That's wrong. The data at the moment shows there are 38 female professors and 38 male professors and 14 female professors. Now, it isn't 4-to-1, and it isn't 1-to-1 either. But the point I want to make is that we are tackling these problems head on. I'm not someone who will merely for the purposes of equality change ratios or be positively discriminating in ways in which we can normalise things, but I am very sensitive to gender equality, to equality and diversity entirely across all 9 protected characteristics. And it's been something which throughout my career I've consistently made sure that where I worked we aligned wherever possible with the sort of things that you'd expect to see. So, pay parity, just on that, and staying with that same group of staff, when we look at pay parity across professors, there is a differential. Male professors are paid modestly more than female professors on average in this university, but nobody is discriminated on the basis of gender. So, all I'm trying to do here is point out to you that when I see inequalities, I have a zero tolerance for them. I try and resolve them, but of course they do take time. And we will work on those things consistently, and I'm always keen to receive your feedback and comments that you may wish to make about things that you feel are unfair, either based on gender or other areas of protected characteristics on equality and diversity. I will consistently say when I'm speaking that the most important resource we've got is our staff. For those of you that work on this campus, which is our newest campus at this moment in time, it's lovely to be here because you've got an open space, you've got a fantastic setting. The river frontage, I think, is just gorgeous. For some visitors who were coming here today from other universities, there was a bit of a struggle in being able to find the campus, and I do appreciate signage in the town isn't always as much as we would like it to be useful in getting people here. But nonetheless, I'm not aware of anybody not able to find the place yet. So it's great to work here, and that of course makes a difference to you and the students who come here. Some of us who work on older campuses, it's not always so enjoyable. If you were here when Craigie College was the site on which you worked, we do have some facilities where there are buckets catching rain on wet days, where there are windows that don't shut properly, where there are temperature control problems and all sorts of other barriers to a pleasant working environment. But we're working on that. So eventually we will hopefully have an estate across all 5 of our current campuses and beyond that are of a similar standard. The point I want to make though is it doesn't matter whether you're working in a tin shed, in a leaky tent, or whether you're outdoors. It's the staff that make the difference. And we're always keen to try and find ways of ensuring that staff do feel valued, that their working environment as they would like it to be, that they can then deliver what we expect of them in supporting the student learning journey, the research activity, and all the other things that we as any university would do in trying to educate a population. So, again, thank you to you for being supportive to the university. Now, across the past couple of years, we've tried to create external verification of what we do. I'm delighted that in the audience today there are people who are involved in the submission for the Athena Swan, which was successful a month or 2 back. There's a celebration event for that next week, I think it is. Is that right, Kate? Yep, next week in Sheffield or Sheffield? Sheffield. So Kate and some other colleagues will be attending that event. I'm unable to attend it due to other commitments I've got in London, but I'm delighted that we'll be represented there. And of course, it's a great achievement to finally be recognised with an Athena Swan Bronze Award associated principally with women in STEM subjects, but not just that. And of course, within the university, we've tried to ensure that it isn't just about STEM, it's about the entire workforce in the university, regardless of where you work. But it's just another feature and an example of where taking equality issues, in this particular case specifically gender equality issues, very seriously is fundamentally important. And when you look at other universities that have already got Athena Swan bronze, silver or gold awards, it's something which they prominently display on their website. I notice on our website at the moment it actually sits at the bottom, so you've actually got to scroll down to find it. I'd like to see it a little more visibly apparent than that, and of course it will be eventually. We're in the middle of a complete refresh of our website, which will not merely be taking content as it is at the moment across into the new provision, but rather it'll be rewritten. So you'll all have a chance to ensure that the areas that you work in are appropriately represented on the new website when that's up and live fairly soon. I think we've got an exceptional range of speakers today, and again I congratulate my colleagues in POD for bringing these together. I always throw names at them. None of the names I've thrown at them are here today. That's okay, don't need to be. But I am really pleased with the people that are here today, and I know we're all going to have a wonderful time. So please do enjoy the entire day, participate fully in both posing questions to the keynote speakers when they speak and getting fully engaged and embroiled in the workshop activity that you do. A quote here from Hillary Clinton: "When women participate in the economy, everybody benefits." She said that on a number of occasions, and there are many, many businesses who acknowledge that as well. When women are chief executives of organisations, there is often a far more considered approach to what that organisation does, typically so. The point I'm making is, men can be brutal, they can be alpha-oriented, they can be dismissive of things, and they miss a lot of stuff. If you come up to our executive corridor, you'll see that there's a set of pictures up there which have just been hung. And the pictures that are up there are of the 9 previous principals in this university. Of course, it wasn't always a university, but if you go back to when it started in 1896, started work in 1897 delivering content, all 10 people that have led this institution have been like me, pale, male and stale. So there's a challenge here. And so if you come into the corridor, you're going to see 9 pictures of blokes before me. I'm not proud of that, but of course I didn't do it and I can't change it. But what I can do is ensure that people see this job, it may be something that you want to do personally, as an opportunity for other people to get their picture in the frame and for us to change that. Now, I'd love to be flying back as an angel or a devil, whatever it may be that I am post-life, to see in 50, 60 years' time that wall is not just 10 males, but perhaps 10 males followed by 10 females. Wouldn't that be great? It did take Oxford University nearly 700 years to get its first woman. I'm hoping it doesn't take UWS that long. There's no reason why it should do. But just referring back to Hillary's quote, women make an important contribution in everything they do. I try and respect that and value that. I'm very keen to have people from all walks of life and from all equality-related backgrounds involved in all the things that we do, and that desperately includes you. I want your voice heard. I want your positions recognised. I want your capabilities developed and advanced. And so these series are about hopefully giving you confidence to step forward when you may not have done, to recognise that just because a job says you need 10 characteristics and you've only got 5 of them, have a go at it, because I can rest assured a bloke will. So enjoy your day and make the most of it. Now I'm going to introduce Wayne next. Our first keynote speaker is Dr. Wayne Hatton. Wayne is known very well to me because she's been on our court for a number of years, and in February this year took over the role as chair of the court of the University of the West of Scotland. An outstanding individual with a very successful career behind her in the NHS as Chief Executive of Ayrshire and Arran NHS prior to stepping down from that role. She didn't retire. I don't think Wayne's ever going to retire. Wayne has so many different roles and responsibilities, it's incredible to understand how she actually fits these things in. One of those for us, and the most important one for us perhaps at the moment, is her role as chair of our court, which she's doing admirably, wonderfully, and in great support to the university's aspirations. She will talk to you about her career experience and life, but you'll see in the précis that's in your document here, she has had a very exciting and varied career over many years, and it continues to this day. So can I introduce YN and give a clap, and then I'm going to ask you to hold this up so I can take a photo. And that's great, all right? Fantastic. And tweet away, all of you. Wayne, well done.
Thank you. You see, I'm not perfect. There's a lot more I can strive and inspire myself to do, so thank you very much. But I did remember to stand in this space. So once more, those of you from the other campus sites being streamed in, hello and welcome. And I'm sorry I can't see you, but it's great because I can't see what faces you might be pulling. Well, I was asked to talk about the highs and lows of my career, any anecdotes I might want to share, anything that could actually contribute to today's program. And when I arrived this morning, I looked at the program and the workshops, and I said to one speaker who might be here in somewhere, yes, hello, Alison. I said, right, it's really good, isn't it? Great minds think alike. You see, great minds think alike. I'm not modest there today, because the themes I'm going to talk about actually fit quite nicely and set the context for the workshops later on. So there is obviously some synergy in the air because of this gathering of inspiring people. Now, just a little bit about myself, which isn't in the biog. I came to the UK in 1968, so you can start calculating. But before I came, I was born in Hong Kong into a very westernized Chinese family, parents, and very athletic. And when I was a kid, I used to start wearing denim jeans. Now this is Hong Kong. Okay, I was born in 1951. So you can see Hong Kong, jeans, dinky, not quite your image of a Chinese kid. Yeah, no? And the reason why I used to wear jeans from very young was said I used to do certain things that I thought were okay, but my mum wasn't too pleased, so I used to get a little whack. So I learned from a very small age that if I have jeans on, if I do something a little radical that was good and fun, it didn't matter because I was quite protected from the whacks. So you can see my childhood development, that was coming through. But the important thing was my childhood is I just liked a bit of fun. I wasn't academic. I was labeled all sorts of things. I used to get so bored in classes in school that, bear in mind, my mum was teaching in the same school. I used to apparently get up, walk to the window, look out at the ships in the Hong Kong harbor to amuse myself, and I didn't make any noise because I was bored. All right? And I think those of you in the lecturing field can probably teach a lot of people how to get people motivated. So that was me. So when I came to Britain to study, my parents thought, my goodness, okay, if she can come over, have a bit of education in 5th and 6th form, and maybe go and do a secretarial course, that's all we can ask for, and find a nice man to marry so we don't have to worry, right? Good parents at that time. But life did change when I came over, and I did go to university, but that was because my mum was so upset that even though I was offered a place at university at Durham, I would rather have gone to art college. And because she was so upset, I thought, oh, can't upset my mom. I must go to university instead. And frankly, I did not enjoy my experience at Durham, Chinese studies, because it was done in such a rote way. It was all the books, and you can imagine me sitting in the top row snoozing off. But I met my husband, so that was a great ending. So you see, everything has another side to it. Came here, married, started my career completely by accident in the NHS, because I couldn't get a grant then to go and do full-time in art and design. But stumbled into NHS, went from being clerical officer to God knows how many years later being the first black minority ethnic woman chief executive. And it was a dual career family. No kids, just a husband, a big kid, 2 cats, and then 2 more cats and a cat. Okay, that was enough for me. So when people tell me, you're a really high achiever, I said, no kids, I don't think so. You know, women who do that. So that is a bit of my life as background. Now, I wanted to share with you, and some of you have heard me speak, I like to use acronyms because partly it gives me a hook, but partly at my age, I need something to help me remember what I'm going to talk about. So today I'm going to talk about lift, the elevator, the lift, because we're here to inspire and lift. And the first thing I want to talk about in lift is because I was asked to talk about highs and lows. I thought, let's get the lows out of the way, because I don't like lows. Does anybody here like lows? Not really. No, I don't. Except when risks are low, then I like it. But my lows in life, I have had plenty of lows. I mean, when I remember the first party I threw in Hong Kong when I was 16, 2 people turned up. So I thought, God, I'm the most unpopular person. What have I done wrong? And other low, I could say I was competing karate. More often than not, I came either 3rd or 2nd. So you can imagine, not happy bunny, pretty low. In work, might not have got the job I wanted, a bit of low, in a meeting, didn't quite get a point I really wanted to get across. Yeah, you've had that experience recently. So these are lows, but frankly, low is a fact of life, isn't it? If we don't get the lows, we don't appreciate the highs. So frankly, lows is no big deal. But one big deal in my career, and you can tell from my nonverbal tonality, not just the words, I'm still probably hitting post-traumatic stress syndrome here, was, I won't go into specific because this is streamed, this is on videotape so people can see it, is a particular point in my career, very senior role. I was attacked very badly personally and in the press, etc., etc. Initially, the reaction was, oh my goodness, why is this happening? None of this is true. These are not facts. Why do people not look at the facts? Then came, I felt really hurt by it, and I thought, I've put all my life and soul and blood into this job, into this role. I know I've done some good things. Why is this individual attacking me so badly? Okay? Again, all those negative self-talk, I'm no good, I must have failed, da, da, da. You know, you've been there, this whole generalization. And then came the anger. This is not fair. It is not fair. And there are people who told me, this is not fair. So you can see from being a low, I moved up, up, up. And when I said, no, this isn't fair, because what I did was I was being attacked for was also part of something bigger that I represented. So it wasn't just me being attacked. It was other people who did a good job who were similarly being attacked. And my goodness, I have no kids. But when you attack my brood, be they my cats, my husband, my friends, especially my work colleagues, people I manage, my goodness, my husband actually got me a t-shirt that says, me off, face the consequences, okay? So I wore this as a bit of armor, and I decided to fight back. So I actually even employed the services of a PR firm, that anything that went in the press, they dealt with it. And then I went, lifted up, let's start lifting, and other gear. I am not allowing bullies of this nature, saboteurs, to actually attack me. And if I'm in such a senior position and they dare do this to somebody of this nature, what are they going to do to people further down the food chain? And indeed, that was what was happening. So I made it very widely known. I also had a litigator lined up. So any further slander, libel on my good name, I'm going to sell the house, remortgage it. I'm going to go for, in karate terms, ippon, the killing winning point. Because it's not right. So we have values. So I thought I'd get the lows out of the way, purely to show to you that I might on the surface be a very strong woman, and I am pretty strong, I hope, but I'm a human being, I have feelings, I have people I care about. But when it gets to a certain line, no way, you're not attacking what I've achieved and what other people have achieved. And for women and men here, really good to see some men here to support women, I would liken us to a bamboo. And I'm Chinese, there's another friend in the audience, like a bamboo, it bends in the wind, yeah? But my goodness, it gets back up. It looks tall and thin, but it's not chunky, so you think not very strong. But that is the strength that we have all inside us. So that's the first lift. The second letter in lift is I, yes? Oh, I forgot to say something. Under the low, and you will see I'm going to use a lot of quotes. Karate Kid, people seen Karate Kid? Karate Kid took great, isn't it? Mr. Han, do you remember something Mr. Han said? When Will Smith's son, he wasn't quite compliant. And Mr. Han said to the little Karate Kid, he says, when you are knocked down, you can choose to get up or stay down. So for me, a choice, totally in control. I choose to always get up. But the leading into the I is, I don't just get up from the lows, okay, you deal with that, you move on. The I is I am. And David Weir, you know David Weir, Paralympian, goodness knows how many medals he had, right? And he said, I am not just a disabled athlete, I am a world-class athlete. He wasn't boasting. That's a fact, isn't it? So now, and including people in other campuses, I'm just going to make sure I wake you all up in case I've lost you a little bit so far. I would like you to turn to the person next to you. You might know them, or you might not. But pretend you don't know them. Okay, pretend you don't know them. And you tell them, you introduce yourself in just one little sentence. No more. Just do that to the person next to you. Just introduce yourself, one sentence, quickly. And that's a lady without anybody, just, okay, introduce yourself to each other. Have you done that? Have you done that? Yes? Okay. Right. A bit of interactive here. I need some feedback. I need some feedback. Okay, anybody would like to volunteer? Anybody would like to volunteer how you introduce yourself to the other person? Anybody want to volunteer? How you've introduced yourself to the other person? No volunteers?
He said hello.
He said hello. Okay. Anything else? Sorry?
My name.
My name? Anything else? Sorry? Status. Okay, so they told you their title.
Yes.
Okay, anything else?
This is Liz, and Liz drives convertible sports car.
Brilliant. The point I am about to make is when we introduce ourselves, yeah, we more often than not tell them the what I am rather than the who I am. And all but one example was what I am, not, no, it's not, they're all the what I am, not the who I am. Basically, when we go through life, we have all sorts of labels. So I was labeled goofy, ugly duckling, a lot of teeth, with 4 teeth pulled out, too many teeth. My jaw was too small. My husband would say, agree with that. I was labeled a bimbo, right? I had all sorts of labels. But in a professional life, we assume these roles and sometimes lose a bit of our identity. We sometimes wear masks. I know I used to wear quite the uniform, pretty somber, suits and all of that, until I was on a program. It was a women leadership program, and this lady, the facilitator said, YN, and we're all supposed to write down a favorite color. Okay, so I wrote mine down, and she came to me, she said, YN, let me guess, what's your favorite color? Red, yellow. I said, yellow, or red, but yellow. Favorite color, sunshine. And so she said, so why are you wearing all that gray? You're completely giving me a confusion of your personality and this role, this mask you're wearing in the professional role. And the reason I wanted to flag this up under the I am, we should be proud of what we are, goof and all, you know, flat nose and all of that. Because in what I've really been passionate about, it's in my quest, in my career since I came into a leadership role many years ago and different ones. And people used to ask me, oh, why Ian? What do you do? What does chief exec mean? And they inevitably expect me to reel off, I'm here to provide strategic leadership, to make sure we manage the financial, blah, blah, blah. You can hear all that stuff. So I decided, frankly, that doesn't do it for me. That doesn't excite me. That's not what excites me in all my role. What excites me is I want to create an environment to succeed. So when people ask me, what do you do? Even now, I say, I like to create an environment to succeed, whether it's individuals, people, teams, it doesn't matter, charities. So by bringing the person dimension, it's recognizing what, you know, who are you? Who is this person? A fast car. You know, who are you? Are you somebody that just likes to bring cheery jokes to the workplace and cheer people up? Fantastic. Are you somebody, I can't bake, who loves baking, and you're one of those who probably bring baking into work to celebrate birthdays? Yes. So do something. And you know, you might be somebody who loves reading thrillers. By bringing those dimensions into the workplace, we are bringing the human side into an organization. We are bringing in the heart into the organization. And I was here, I know some of you were here for the barbecue event. Yes? Well, did you remember what Craig was wearing? Came in, I thought, ooh, living the culture, living, this is about a people organization, very flowery shirt, Bermuda shorts, yellow flip-flops, and Gordon, well, I didn't recognize Gordon, our gorgeous chauffeur. He had a pink t-shirt and pink shorts. I mean, that to me is bringing the personality into the workplace. When I first came up to Scotland in my old job, the very beginning, all the doors were shut, and I wasn't used to it. And people didn't swear. Now, I don't condone swearing, it's not good. But when somebody drops an almighty big brick on their foot, you would expect at least somebody to say, oh, sugar. I didn't even heard sort of mild variations of. It was very sterile because of a particular culture. And the day, many years later, one day my HR director came and said, Wyatt, I've got to tell her this. I don't know how to say it. And she said, so-and-so and so-and-so, 2 colleagues on the floor, they're having an affair. And do you know what was my reaction? Fantastic. You mean there are real people in this organization? Okay? And it's not making judgment. And suddenly, there are people with real things happening. And when people brought their photos in holiday, I'd like to join in and listen to their story as opposed to, oh no, I'm supposed to be well. I'm not supposed to talk about the new baby or my birthday party or something. Let's really bring that life and soul in. And I'm seeing so much more of that in this organization. And let's bring that in. And this is why the I am is not about boasting. It really is recognizing it. But I do want you now to just reflect, and if you've got a pen and paper, write down. If you want to use the iPhone and put it in the note bit, which I'm learning to do a little more now, to not waste paper. I just want you to write down one thing about yourself, I am, which is a real positive, something to show you honor a quality you have. If you want to write 2, 3, 4, and 5 down in the next 5 seconds, by all means do so. But just one would be really, really good starter. Would you be happy to do that? Because I know you can hear me, but your mode of operation might be visual. So whilst you're doing that, I want to now move on to the F in lift, okay? The F in lift is about fitting in. Anybody seen the movie? You know I'm a movie buff. What a Girl Wants? And in that movie, it was said, why are you trying to fit in when you are born to stand out? Love it. Do you love that? And again, that doesn't mean being boastful. Not at all. But we have all qualities. You have qualities. You can write a book on Wikipedia. All the qualities you have, all the achievements you have. But if we don't appreciate it, the question is, whose life are you living? I went to Durham because my mum was upset. I would much rather have gone to St. Martin's in London or Leicester Art School, because that would have been absolutely fantastic. But I would have met my husband. Pros and cons. So whose life, whose dream was I living? Who was I trying to please? And who am I now still trying to please? And in fact, about glass ceiling, I think men have glass ceilings as well, not just women. It's just, it feels like, you know, the talk is about women glass ceiling. But men have glass ceiling. And do you know why I can appreciate that now? Because when I first moved up to Scotland, my husband moved up with me because he was doing consultancy. And then he came and says, no, actually, I've always wanted to do a PhD. Now they do this nice big job, and we are settling in. I can work part-time anyway. I'm going to do a full-time PhD. I thought, fantastic, finally do something he wants, right? And for the first time in my life, he's always earned more than me until then, it's not competition, I experienced what it was like to be a sole earner in the family. So don't tell me men don't have glass ceiling issues. They might be different, but similar imposition, similar constraints that they experience can be very, very challenging. So therefore, the lifting up in terms of fitting in, I would now like us to lift a bit more in terms of what do you want in your life. And let me give you a couple more examples, anecdotes about my career of fitting in. When I started doing karate centuries ago, women were not allowed to spar in the black belt grading. We were not given an event in the championships to spar, and women were not allowed to qualify as referees or judges. Authentic, one of the qualities about me, rebellious. Labeled, you're very rebellious, meaning bad, bad, bad. No, rebellious does not mean bad. If I use it that is a hindrance to people harm, that's bad. If the rebelliousness is to challenge status quo and make something better, that's a good thing. So my coach taught me several years ago. So you can see, why you soapbox, got to have clarified this. When I was an NHS chief executive many years ago, I would turn up to our regular meetings, chief exec meeting, and people would say to, hi, Wai-Yin, how are you? And I say, great. And inevitably, several heads turn around and say, what do you mean great, Wai-Yin? Which planet have you come back from? Right? We've got all these challenges, all these problems. I said, no, I feel great, because NHS Ayrshire, I can't speak for you, but NHS Ayrshire, there are bumps, there are little problems, there are little hiccups, but 99.9% of the stuff happening here is absolutely great, and they're great people. There's people still with ambitions, wanting to do better and make improvements in spite of. So what's not great about today that I can't say great? So you can see people wanted to contain me. People don't want things that are good to happen. Now on this junction, you are all learned people. Passive, aggressive, assertive. Yes, we know what we would, I hope, prefer to be. And the definitions I came across, which I want to share with you, and you probably come across them, but they're so powerful for me in terms of guiding light, is if somebody is aggressive, they stand up for their own rights, but they violate the rights of others. I love that definition. Somebody who's passive, it's somebody who lets others violate their right and do not stand up for their own rights. The assertive person stands up for their own rights and respects and honors the rights of others. So with that maxim, and I would rather be that assertive person, I thought, well, it's got to change for the better. Yeah. So I actually didn't fight, tried to use different ways of persuasion, found allies, and entered my first karate competition. Got my nose flattened. You can see it's pretty flat, even flatter. I had to fight, having fought for it. Black belt gradings, women are allowed to fight. And you can only fight, you don't have other choices now, which is fine, because if you're learning a fighting art, why are you not testing it? And I was the first person to qualify as a judge and referee and first European judge in karate. So these things can happen because I wanted to have that lift off and open up the other opportunities. And in NHS, I know I'm pretty entrepreneurial, and you say public sector, they don't like people too kind of radical, rebellious, creative. But no, I was working with UWS then, and we created the first Institute of Healthcare Acquired Infection in Scotland. And I didn't understand why Glasgow, Aberdeen, Edinburgh could have university chairs posts and have hospitals called university hospitals. Well, so can Ayrshire. So that happened as well. So you can see when we have characteristics, when we know who we are, what characteristics we have, we can play them in, and rather than fitting into a mode, is how to constructively break certain modes that frankly needed breaking, and unleash and fly and lift off. So let me move to oh no, one more, I forgot now, you see H, this is why I have to remember these letters. Another quote in terms of being flexing rather than fitting in, Judy Garland said, be a first-rate version of yourself and not a second-rate version of somebody else. Like it? Powerful. Okay, let's move to the final letter, which is T. T is about target. And you all have targets, KPIs. I don't quite mean that kind of targets. And I'll tell you why target, that word is so good for me. I listened to a really wonderful woman, Marjorie Calder. She's from Ayrshire, but she worked in one of the biggest firms, PR firms based in Glasgow. And in her talk, she said, be sure you always hit the target. Whatever you hit is the target. Oh, I thought, revelation. Craig said at the beginning, have a go. Life is about having a go. Life is too short. People say it's not a rehearsal. I actually like to have a happy life. I just like to be happy. I'm not always happy. Things do bug me, so don't be under any false pretension. But I would like a good life, and by that I don't mean like to drive a Porsche and drive another Porsche or fast car or nice holiday and dream of all these things. I just want to be a place where I can take far more control of my life and realize things I want realized. So in my life, you see in the intro, karate. I mean, look at my build. I'm not built for karate. For built for karate, I really need to be much more stocky, lower center of gravity. In spite of that, sheer hard, well, no eye-hand contact either. Sheer hard work, practice, I got quite a few medals and trophies from international arena. If you look at my Chinese ethnicity, although my parents were very, very westernized in their days, there are certain cultural things. A woman, Wai Yin, you're in a job now, you've done a couple of years, isn't it time for some babies? Oh, great, you have some babies. Alvin, I'm not into kids. Give us 2 more kittens, cats, that's okay. You know, we have to be true to ourselves, because that is just not for us. So be honest, right? So there are people's perceptions. Oh, you're a chief exec. You should do this. You should do that. And in the old days, before your time, you should wear trousers. Don't care if your trousers is a Jaeger trousers, you do not wear trousers. Oh my goodness, right? So there are a lot of shoulds. So it's not about a role. It's about what I want in life, what I can be. And I want to aspire to more. And let me tell you a funny story, but it's a true story. I was labeled not academic when I was a kid. Sister, bright, bright, bright. I just want to go and play, go discoing, go to parties, right? Ride my bike, go on my skateboard. You see how old I am, okay? All those things don't quite happen. But I got my PhD because I wanted to do it. Great encouragement. And I remember sitting in my gown, and sorry, this university's gown was fuchsia pink. Oh, gorgeous. And I was sitting waiting to be called up, waiting for the ceremony to start. And you know, the university world is just alien to me. And these people came in from the court, and I thought, wow, look at those gowns. Gorgeous gowns, black, all these embroideries. And I said to my husband, I said, gosh, their gowns are really exciting. I know mine is fuchsia pink, but they're really excited. Wouldn't it be nice to have a gown like that? Well, lo and behold, join UWS, court member, fabulous gown. When's the next graduation? A couple of weeks, isn't it? I've got this even nicer gown and a hat. You know, things happen. I didn't come to join UWS to get a gown, but things in life happen because we're on that journey of self-discovery. And it is so exciting. Okay, I have a few bumps here and there, enter another, you know, Alf used to say to me, Wai Yin, you have not even left the arena when you've come third again and you're talking about the next competition. Have a break. I said, no, I'm not going to. Why? And Craig says, can't imagine me stopping. Life is for living. I have gone from one journey, one career, doing other things of my choice. So really, whatever I want to do, I will go and do them, and I will enjoy, and I will find that very fulfilling. The fact that I might not get there, that's okay. It's no big deal. I don't expect everything to go my way, but if I can keep notching towards it, and it's not about I'm going to make somebody else proud, that's not the game. I don't want to be I need recognition for my achievement. No, it's really nice when somebody says you've done well, isn't it? It's like the awards, right? It's great when somebody give feedback. But frankly, at the end of the day, I like to know I have had a good life. I have done things that I'm happy about. I am proud of them. I don't need other people to tell me that, oh, that's very nice, especially if friends says, Wai Yin, congratulations, yesterday. Met her, went to Glasgow. Wai Yin, I need to celebrate because I have not bought you a bubbly yet for getting the chairs row. So it's great. But it is that journey, it's excitement. And the reason why I really want to share this with you, if you're not already having a go at whatever, it's new horizons, new learning. I stumbled, as I said, into an NHS career. I don't know what else I'm good at and enjoy. That's why when the magic figure came and I could take my full pension, I thought, I'm off, I'm going to find. I'm going on a discovery journey. People go and travel around the world. Well, I'm doing a lot of world travel in all the things I'm doing now. And here's another quote. Seen the film Hitch? Will Smith, oh, I love that funny movie, right? Now, let me make sure I get this right. And he said, life is not the number of breaths you take. It's the number of moments that take your breath away. I want my life to be lots of these magic moments, so I want that lifting up. Okay. So I've shared some of my journey, which I hope is useful, some a bit funny, and I just want to share a few more quotes with you before we move to the end. we talked about the lows and highs, dealing with yucky stuff. Tamsin Outhwaite said about her life-work balance, it's not a struggle, it's a juggle. So it's her mindset turning something potentially negative into something quite useful. And it's a challenge, we can do it, I love it. Dolly Parton, I know people have different views about Dolly Parton, but when I've read her life story, I was pretty inspired with her background, where she got to, how she got there. And the bit that, of course, I have to put is, when I feel a little low, I put on favorite high heels to stand a little taller. And it is, I think, for me, that visual. I'm not going to go, right, physically, because physiologically, some people in the health and psychology here, when your whole posture lifts up, everything works differently. So the way we can tackle situations is completely different. So let's stand tall whether you need the high heels or not. But the one I love best is when I read, I work hard at being happy, like some people work hard at being miserable, all right? And this is where the I am bit is recognized. What are you? Who are you? That actually makes you the great person each of you other campuses are. And in terms of opening up opportunities, not fitting in, flexing, you love it. I'm sorry, gentlemen, this is a women, inspiring women. We can just change that to men as well, because different types of tea and even coffee sign bags now. A woman is like a tea bag. You can't tell how strong she is until you put her in hot water. Push ourselves, test ourselves to the full. It's great, isn't it? Or if you like cold water, or if you don't like cold water, I've not done that yet, try and jump into cold water. Same kind of thing. And the other quote, and I love this, especially if they're Trekkie fans here, 7 of 9 said, impossible is a word humans use too often. So for that target, go for it. And bringing you back to David Weir, and those of you who might have watched the Sochi 2014 Paralympics, Winter Paralympics. Did you see some of the sign where they turned the word impossible, slightly reconfigured, I'm possible. So everything, I'm possible. And my late father said, why, you can do anything you want. It might just take you a little while to get there, but go for it, have a go, okay? And the final one, another movie. This kid stuff, but great. Rebecca, it's not how much time you have, it's what you choose to do with it. And the reason why I wanted to flag that, I knew somebody say, why are you doing all these things? My friend said, you're supposed to be retired. How can you pack all these things in? Well, there are 24 hours a day. I only spend no more than 8 of them sleeping. So simple math is 8 from 24 is so many hours a day. So what's the problem with packing things in that I enjoy, I choose to do, and I can make people happy, get them to smile? So before I close, and I know there's a couple of minutes maybe for question and answer, I would just invite you, you don't have to do it, and other campuses as well, please. I would like to invite you, first of all, just to recall the first kind of little interaction we did, the I am bit. So one quality about yourself, okay? And in the bit about flexing, really lifting that top about glass ceiling, whatever, think of something you would want to do that you want to unleash yourself. Anything? Doesn't have to be small, could be work, private life. It could be something as simple for Yin. I need to be able to bake a cake. But change that language into something empowering for yourself. I want to, because it's empowering. That's giving myself power. That's motivating, because I don't have to do it. But I really want to make a nice cake, because I can't yet make a cake. So how do I power up myself? Okay, so I am, yeah? I want to do something. Yeah? Got it? And the last thing, what will I do? I will. I will be the best in my group. I will be the best lecturer. I will be the best. But put a superlative in. Have you done that? Okay. Now I would like to invite you to lift and make a shift today. So I would just like to invite you to stand up, please, if you want to. You don't have to. But stand tall, lift. And think of the I am, I want, I will. And I would like to invite you, hope you're all doing it in the other campuses, just put a hand on your heart. I'd like to invite you, just close your eyes. I'm not going to hypnotize you. Just close your eyes and say to yourself, I am this wonderful quality. I want to have this change in my life, work, whatever. I will do this shift, this thing, this aspiration, this greatness. And when you have repeated those, I want you now to just imagine the wonderful feeling in yourself when you have achieved that I will, and that's happened. Imagine that situation. Try and see the picture. What are the colors around there? Who might be there? What are the buntings? What that nicely smell of nice food? Whether the bubbly or red wine or non-alcoholic, nice taste. Try now hear what are the sounds that help you in that celebration. Are people laughing, saying well done, or saying to yourself, I did a great job. I'm really pleased I overcame that hurdle. And what is that lovely, lovely, lovely feeling that you are now feeling that is warm, that is elevating, that is so, so, so good. It's really like a legal high because you have now lifted yourself to this place of absolute heavenly bliss of success. And just retain that feeling. And when you wish to come back, open your eyes and sit down. But hang on to that wonderful feeling. Great moments. And your moment of greatness is completely within your control. So on that note, I just want to thank you for putting up with my anecdotes and my quirkiness, probably a little rebelliousness. And I want to wish you every success, which is completely within your gift, to lift yourself to that next plane of pure greatness. So thank you for listening to me.
You've gone modestly over, but that's okay. The next stage, and Claire will tell us about it in a moment, is going into the workshops where there will be tea and coffee in copious amounts. So I'm going to allow a few questions first of all before we release YN, but over to you. So questions or comments people would like to make?
You can disagree with me.
Fine.
Yes, Dan.
So I'd like you to know, maybe you can share more kind of culture, kind of the difference, I mean, at work, when you, how you really overcome that culture difference between Chinese background, you know, that assertion or that, and then, you know, the actual, I guess, the culture atmosphere, how you really overcome it.
Okay.
So for those listening on the World Wide Web, there are hundreds of thousands of people out there. The question is an understanding of the cultural difference between aspects of your life and work as you brought them together.
Yep. Very simply, I try to, no, I won't say I try, that's an Andy Murray thing. I will and I do always take the positive aspects. So I have never fought a cultural ethnicity issue. I bring the good things and I share with people fun things about feng shui, for example, some Chinese quotes, bamboo, the good things, what I can bring to the table, and just simply acting as role model to say, and how can we bring the positive, the good things to the forefront and make a great big chop suey dish.
Chop suey is not a real dish, by the way. It's a Western made-up dish. One more question or comment.
Who's your role model then? So who do you think to get to where you are now?
So again, to the World Wide Web, the question is, who's the role model that Wayne has been inspired by? Or role models, perhaps?
I have several role models, and none of these are famous people, because people will quote various ones, right? One is a lady who was in the karate team with me. She was a bit older, very, very, very successful. And what so impressed me about her was that we went into an all-style competition one year, so we were both competing against each other and other people. And she said, Wai-Yin, you have now made the finals. I believe you can win it. I would suggest you do this particular performance rather than the other one. You will win it. And I thought, but you're the champion. She said, blanket. You are out there to win and do your best. She was a role model to me because she was so generous with her experience, expertise, advice. Again, not putting herself before my interests because she saw there's something good. So for me, she was probably a key mover and shaker in why I want to inspire and nurture other people to succeed in life. So she is the major one for me.
I'm going to close it there, but I'm just going to say a few summary comments. I think that was a wonderful answer. Wayne commented earlier on how positive she is in life, and I certainly can endorse that comment. I work with Wayne quite a lot. She is my boss, essentially, and so I have a lot of time in her company where we talk about the university and the things that we're trying to achieve. And her approach to life is incredibly positive, even when I present difficult situations for her to deal with and help us resolve. So that positive nature is a really strong attribute. Now, of course, we can't all be positive all the time, but it is important that when we're interacting with others, and particularly in a university where it's a people business, that they see that people person that is positive and is approachable. Second thing I want to pick up on was your last answer, which I thought was a great answer. I'm sure we all have role models from life, people who have inspired us, and I often refer back to teachers who, when I was younger, gave me confidence and inspired me to do certain things, such as pursue a degree in mathematics, which was my first degree, because of the love of that subject from the teacher that I worked with. But of course, role models are everywhere. And what I want you to walk away with from this first session is that you're a role model yourself. So don't aspire to somebody else and say, that's the person I need to be. Wayne made this comment in her talk as well, but there'll be people looking at you who will see you as the role model they're aspiring to. So just remember that we're all role models, we all aspire to different things, but somebody's looking at you saying, I want to be like that person. I'm going to hand over to Claire now. Let's just thank very much Wayne's presentation.